The Atlanta Child Murders, The Case of Wayne Williams. A true crime documentary between 1979 and 1981, fear gripped the streets of Atlanta. Young black children, teenagers, and even adults were disappearing, only to be found murdered, their bodies left in wooded areas, rivers, or under bridges. The city was on edge. Parents were afraid to let their children out of sight. And the police. They had no answers. But then, in the early hours of June 22, 1981, a splash in the Chattahoochee River led authorities to a suspect, one who remains at the center of controversy to this day. His name, Wayne Bertram Williams. Uncover the darkest crimes, shocking mysteries, and real-life investigations. Welcome to Fame Files, where truth is more terrifying than fiction. Fame Files cover all the true crime stories of the whole world with you on this channel. Stay connected with us and keep watching daily true crime stories on Fame Files. A city in fear. The Atlanta child murders were unlike anything the city had ever seen. Between 1979 and 1981, at least 29 black children, teens, and young adults were killed. Some were strangled, others were asphyxiated, and a few were shot. The victims were mostly boys, many from low-income neighborhoods, and all were vulnerable. As the body count rose, so did the panic. Parents pleaded for help, but local police struggled to make sense of the killings. At first, authorities hesitated to acknowledge a serial killer was at work. The victims were often dismissed as runaways. But when their bodies were discovered, one after another, it was clear, something sinister was happening in Atlanta. The break in the case came on the night of May 22, 1981. Law enforcement, now working with the FBI, set up surveillance along Atlanta's many bridges, hoping to catch the killer dumping a body. At 2:50 a.m., officers stationed near the Chattahoochee River heard a loud splash. Moments later, they saw a car slowly driving away. They pulled the vehicle over. Inside was a 23-year-old freelance photographer and aspiring music promoter, Wayne Williams. Who was Wayne Williams? Wayne Williams was an intelligent and ambitious young man. Born and raised in Atlanta, he was known for his interest in radio broadcasting and music. He had a home studio, claimed to be a talent scout, and frequently drove around the city looking for young musicians. At first glance, Williams seemed far from the profile of a serial killer. But when investigators looked deeper, a troubling pattern emerged. Williams had been seen with several of the victims before they disappeared. And in his car and home, police found fibers and hair that forensic experts claimed linked him to multiple crime scenes. The trial and conviction in 1982, Wayne Williams stood trial, not for the child murders, but for the deaths of two adult victims, Nathaniel Cater and Jimmy Ray Payne. The prosecution argued that Williams had dumped Cater's body in the river the night police stopped him. The most damning evidence. Fibers. Carpet fibers from Williams' home and his dog's hair were reportedly found on the bodies. The prosecution claimed this proved he was the killer. The jury agreed. After just 12 hours of deliberation, Wayne Williams was convicted of 2 counts of murder and sentenced to 2 consecutive life terms. Did Wayne Williams kill the children? Interviews with legal experts, family members, and activists. Williams' conviction for the 2 adult murders effectively closed the child murder cases. Police officially attributed at least 22 of the child murders to him, despite never charging him with any of them. Many, however, questioned the evidence. Some believed Williams was a scapegoat. There were reports of KKK involvement in the killings, including an FBI informant who allegedly knew of a white supremacist group targeting black children. Some forensic experts later challenged the fiber evidence, arguing it was inconclusive. Williams has always maintained his innocence, claiming the case against him was built on circumstantial evidence and racial bias. Even today, the case remains one of the most debated in true crime history. The case reopened in 2019, nearly 40 years after Wayne Williams' conviction. Atlanta officials reopened the case, hoping to use modern DNA testing to determine whether Williams was truly guilty, or if the real killer remains unknown. Families of the victims still seek closure. Some believe Williams is guilty. Others think the real killers were never caught. Conclusion: the mystery endures. The Atlanta child murders remain a chilling reminder of a time when an entire city lived in fear. Was Wayne Williams the monster behind it all? Or was he simply an easy target for a desperate investigation? The truth may never be fully uncovered. But for the families of the victims, justice is long overdue. If you enjoyed this documentary, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more true crime and celebrities stories.